So we've made it all the way through Andor up to Rogue One. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comments section. Let me know, what did you think about this final arc on Andor? This is a spoiler review, so feel free to spoil away with everything that you want to say about it. You have been warned if you haven't watched Andor yet. There are, despite the fact that we know the ultimate fate of a number of these characters, because it's a prequel to Rogue One, also, there are definitely some little twists, turns, reveals in here that would be spoilers for the ultimate fate of some certain characters and a little piece of information that we did not know. Let's get started with my quick thoughts on the finale itself. And this was another great arc for the show, which does a great job of bridging the gap between the series and Rogue One, as well as closing out all of these lingering plot threads that are kind of going on, and doing it in a way that is true to Andor, this espionage show with these very morally complicated people playing into the absolute mess that is the rebellion, that to do what they're trying to do, you have to do awful things. And at the center of it very much is Luthien, who is a very difficult character because he's so willing to do the evil, participate in the evil that he's fighting against. He's done horrible, atrocious things for the greater good. And he's fully aware of the fact that he is that person that has to do those things. And getting kind of some of his backstory, the connections, and playing out this final little bit for him of how pivotal he was in setting up the Star Wars that kicked off in 1977. And that's kind of the beauty of this show, is telling the untold stories of the rebellion. Not the space wizards, not our New Hope, not our Skywalker, but all of the random people that never got to see the culmination of their efforts. They never knew if they won. They gave everything. In the case of some of them, their morality, their character, their lives, the people they love for this greater good, that they never see how it plays out. And even kind of what you get in the last episode of the lack of trust. This person that literally gives everything for a group of people that do not value him, that do not trust him, that almost ignore this intel, that us as the audience know how important it is. We're like, what are you doing? Why are you not listening to this? And that's kind of what that depth of thought, complexity, lack of trust of an organization like this is what is so good about it. All of it kind of leading up to the final shot in it, and how much you have these characters that give and give and give, and they never see the fulfillment of it. All of it kind of leading up to the final little shot where they reveal that Andor has a kid. And even as it kind of happened, my wife was like, is this a plot point? Is this something we knew? And it's like, no, that's the point. Is Andor is about to, he finally has accepted his calling, that he steps into action and he's not fighting that. Like he's that guy that has to do that. And as much as he doesn't, in the grander sense, isn't joining a cause, but he also can't say no to like being having that savior complex. And we know that he gives his life, he gives everything for a cause where he's not going to know if they succeeded or not. And he doesn't know that he has a kid. He gives his life, gives everything to create a free world that his kid can grow up in. And he'll never see it. He doesn't even know it. Like, he doesn't know the world was created and doesn't know the kid's in it. And there's just something like just so tragic about that. But like, I mean, even as you kind of play through so many of the resolutions here. I mean, of course, we were talking about Luthien a little bit there with him, where he dies knowing that he's discovered the thing that matters. He does not even know if that information will get to the people over there. And the people, when they do get it, don't even trust it. Like, he dies with so little knowledge of, did any of this work? Today's video is brought to you by Factor. Make this your best season yet with 2-minute nutritious meals from Factor. We're heading into the summer. I want to go outside and have fun with my kids. I don't want to spend my time in the kitchen cooking and cleaning. That's where Factor is here to help. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat. Perfect for any active lifestyle. It's easy to savor more this spring or summer. Factor meals pack in flavor with none of the fuss. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Just got back from the gym. We've got queso fundido and ground beef and cauliflower rice, all with over 40 grams of protein. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. I like to start my day with their protein shakes, once again, because I'm a high-protein kind of guy. Get started at factormeals.com/SeanChandler50off and use code SeanChandler50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code SeanChandler50off at factormeals.com/SeanChandler50off for 50% off plus free shipping. And then the other side to it is you get the ultimate fate of our Imperials. And the way that it kind of plays out, the ones that we've been following all along, all of them eventually get sucked up, chewed out, and spit out by the Imperial machine. Now, of course, we saw that with Cyril, and Cyril knew significantly less information and reached a point in time where he went, oh crap, what have I done? And then we play this out with our remaining two that we've been following all along, where Dedra goes all in, and she kind of reaches her moment where she's like, so self-satisfied in catching Luthen that even she gives her little speech about, like, so believes in her cause, like, you want freedom for yourself and chaos for everyone else, even as, like, all the way up until the moment where it collapses underneath her, is thinking that she's the hero of the story that's about to be celebrated for her efforts in finding this guy. And then so quickly finds herself on the other end of this. It's like, hey, wait a minute. I found the guy. I was trying to do the best I could to find the guy with what I had. It's what you told me to do. I found the guy, and what's happening here? And instantly, that just fully turns on her. That in her zealousness to catch the guy, in her efforts that lead to certain vulnerabilities being exposed, she is grabbed by them, has a moment where she realizes, oh crap, like there's no way for me to get out of this. Like I'm not invincible. I can't talk my way out of it. It doesn't matter that I caught the guy. I'm toast. And even in the last little bit, I wish, I'll talk about this in just a second, that maybe we had a little bit more time or a couple more scenes here. And on the other side to it, it's able with a single image, really, it's just an image, to completely communicate everything that needs to be communicated. You show her as a prisoner in a cell from the first season crying. And in like, that really is all you need. And it says everything. That just as our heroes gave up everything, very similar but very different from the heroes of our show, heroes that give everything without knowing that they did it, they succeeded. She gives everything, dedicates her life, gives up, like, does horrible things, lies to the person she loves, loses the person she loves, in service to the Imperials. And she, on the other hand, knows, wait, I meant nothing to them. Nothing I did earned me anything. And I've lost everything, and I'm in prison. Like, all the people I was tracking down. Wait, it was just a lot. Like, this thing is just... What? And it, like, the parallels to that is what the show, I think, just can do so well. Is that kind of, like, just depth of exploration of character. And then, of course, Boss Guy, he's about to have his own path of whether execution or imprisonment, and instead decides to kill himself. And it's a guy that's so confident in his scheming and everything he's doing, and then finds that moment, I'm gonna die. Like, I'm screwed. Like, and just takes his life. And just realizes everything I've given, like, all of this has been for their cause. Everything that I've done has been for their cause. And none of it means anything. I gave my life for nothing. And the other side gave their life for a great cause. And they'll never know if they won or not. And what they won. And what was waiting because of their efforts. Some of what's kind of fun about the finale is I went into it on the one hand knowing exactly where it ends, and at the same time not knowing what the bridge would be. How is this going to play out? Like, certain of these characters have to die, and I know Andor has to end up in this place, but how are we going to do that? And true to the show, at the end of the day, it's quite literally like, we just need to get this information to the right people and get them to believe it. In so many regards, it's because Rogue One is the sensational, fantastical battle to get these plans. This is, how do we get the information to let us to know that we need to go get the plans? It's like, this is a prequel to a prequel, and both of those are already very fantastic, like, large-scale battle on Scarif, the Death Star. Like, the culmination of this, the first Star Wars movie, is so thrilling and exciting that it changed cinema forever and created this franchise that we're watching. So there's a side to it of, you have to be able to have something that's interesting, and at the same way, it can't be so interesting that you're kind of competing with that thing. Like, there's two things after this. So this is literally just, we need to get this letter over there, basically. And how are we going to do that? And because we're invested in the characters and the broken trust and all this different stuff, it's able to do that in a way that, like, keeps you on the edge of your seat. The simplicity of what needs to happen over these 3 episodes and the stakes to it, despite the fact that we know the outcome, is so much of, like, when you've crafted something really, really good. All right, some final thoughts on the season as a whole. If I don't want to go too much into this because I already talked about it last week and as well as my original review, I feel like the back half of this season is maybe the best 6 episodes of the show, and then the first 6 episodes of the season are my least favorite episodes of the show, where I think the use of their time, they picked some of the least interesting stuff that they could do with those episodes. And now, having seen the final 3 episodes, that I don't think these ones are as good as episodes 7, 8, and 9, because 7, 8 is so good, but it's really good in its own way of being that final bridge. And because it is connecting so much tissue, that itself just makes it really engaging and interesting. But the thing that I kept thinking all throughout these last 3 episodes was, I think they shot themselves in the foot by saying, we're going to do 3 episode blocks, time jump. All 4 will be 3 episodes, and there'll always be a year gap. It's an interesting structure, but ultimately I think that's the flaw of the season. That I don't feel that 3 episodes of Andor stealing a TIE fighter and Mon Mothma at a wedding, Like 3 episodes for that, as well as 3 episodes for let's get the plans, or let's get the information and the trust and everything in the finale. These are so exponentially different in interest level and importance, but given the same amount of time. And that's where I go, like, if you do the first 3 episodes in 2 episodes, and you give an extra episode at the end, I think there's a bunch more things that I would like, I would have loved to go deeper and deeper into all these details or final resolutions, epilogue in the last 3 episodes. That if you remove the structure, if you take away that we are trying to do 3 episode arcs, you would give less time to what we did at the beginning, and you would give more time at the end. You just would. Like I have the extraordinarily difficult time thinking that this is how you would divvy up the runtime of the season. The Andor is over here flying a ship and trying to get somebody. He gets on a planet and he gets in a little scuffle with the Lost Boys and he has to get out of there just in time. Like, but 3 episodes at a wedding. Is that what you would do if you weren't doing the structure? I have the hardest time believing that's how you would divvy up your time. And so I don't know if they just, like, season 1 had the arcs and the time jumps, but it wasn't locked in on 3 years time jump, or 3 episodes time jump. And they did it this season, and I think it really did hurt it. That the runtime was dictated by a structure, not by the amount of story they had. And that would really be my big criticism of the season, which it kind of has been all along. But when you see the final episodes and I go, some of this stuff is just a lot more interesting, carries more weight, has more like just edge of your seat thrills, and there's more stuff I want to dive into. And some of it, I feel like we stretched out way too long. Just even that out. Take an episode from the beginning, give it to the end, we're good. Even kind of the structure of the final episode, as a binge, it doesn't matter. But if you stop and think about what actually happened, the way they were structured, the shootout at the beginning of the finale should have been at the end of the last episode, because that's the culmination of that story. How do they get out of there? And then all the stuff on Yavin is the next episode. But you want to have some action in your finale because we're doing episodes and we're only doing it, breaking it up the way we're doing it. And I think just in and of itself, it creates a scenario to where you're trying to, like, we're dividing this up in a very kind of peculiar fashion because of the structure. So that's my take on some of that stuff. Overall, like, without question, this is some of the best Star Wars we've ever gotten. I just wish that the first half I just don't understand why they picked what they picked to focus in on with so much time. But then the back half delivered the greatness that we wanted out of all of this. I don't know if there's anything I missed. I'm not trying to do just a walkthrough, but do plot points or whatever. But anyway, great Star Wars. Let me know your thoughts down below. Keep talking movies and TV too much.